Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, seekers, and sojourners of truth. The 144, the chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Aquila Textry in the divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from 5D. Those who with me in 5D say, hey, how are we feeling in the 5D? In the split, we getting shaken up. Things are breaking up and shaking up. The split is a beautiful thing, which brings me to our topic, the dichotomy of the soul. I am finally bringing this topic to light. It came to me last week, and it came during the manifestation. So those of you who were following the manifestation videos, this will sound pretty familiar to you as I explain some of this, because it really is aligned with the manifestations, and it literally came on the day that I was on my sacral. Right, hence why I'm giving it a little respect and adorning my orange right now, representing the sacral chakra, as well as holding space for that sacral chakra workshop that's coming up this weekend. I've already posted it. You may see it online, and I'll reiterate. I'll go back to that at the end of this video. So let's now choose to infuse with this light, as I always bring you the news to infuse with if you so choose. So let's get in this light grid activation and click, click, infuse with the dichotomy of the soul. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? As I was coming out, right before coming on, I saw 848. So I saw the balance in between infinity. Let's go. This is a balance. What I'm explaining to you is really a balance within our infinite existence as souls that we are, to understand the dichotomy of our soul. And it is a beauty to behold. That's how it came to me. Dichotomy of the soul is a beauty to behold. It's actually the remembering of the soul that is worth more than gold, and this is worth it. If you can absorb this information and take it in, understand, to overstand, and understand, it's beautiful. So y'all get y'all, we in the lab right now. Get your dissecting tools, because the dichotomy of the soul is about us dissecting and going in right now to really see what is this dichotomy of the soul. So this cosmic dichotomy, let's go in. Right, so right off, we're looking at where things split into two. There is a duality in this realm. To exist in this realm, it entails having a duality, and it's not the bad duality that we think. That's why I'm smiling. I'm like, this is so beautiful when you can understand the soul. It is really seeing, and as I'm saying seeing, it's like I was having a third eye come to, as they say, come to Jesus or come to heaven moment, on the day of the sacral. And the sacral and the third eye goes hand in hand. So I know this is not a coincidence. No such thing as a coincidence or accident that I got this heavy download from the third eye perspective about the sacral, to really see the dichotomy of the soul and how it comes into expression in the sacral. So I gave a little tidbit about it on one of the videos, so I'm gonna just jump right in, because this could go, we wanted to go too long. So the realization draws from wisdom is what we want to hold and understanding. That's what came to me. The realization, which is in the sacral, it draws from the wisdom, which is the third eye, which is wisdom and intuition, right? So this is where you realize the separation in the third eye, right? The duality as the duality. So in the third eye as the duality, as the masculine feminine energy existence within the soul as one, the sacred union, right? Which is what we're talking about with this sacred, in the sacral is a sacred union. It is where the duality in the third eye is realized in the sacral. So that duality that comes apart in the third eye, for those of you who remember the manifestations coming down, this is where we see the separation between the waters. And so it is realized though in the sacral. So it happens in the third eye, but we don't usually realize it. This is why we're going in right now to see this dichotomy that plays out in our soul all the way into the realization of it in the sacral. So this is perception in emotions, right? Being that this is the perceptive aspect and the sacral is our emotional body. So it's the perceptions and the emotions being realized, right? So before I get into breaking that down, I want us to understand that this dichotomy of the soul is really showing the, I believe it's, they say mitosis, or I don't know if I'm saying that word right, but that scientific word where the egg splits. So let's imagine the cell, the egg, the cell. We are cells on this soul. The earth itself is a soul, and it is a cell in the cosmos, and we are cells on this body of earth that is the soul, and we have micro cells inside of us, so it just gets smaller and smaller from the micro to the macro. So just understanding the layers and the levels of it, that the baby, look at it as a baby that is coming to existence, has to be, this is just to give us a visual, that same splitting, it comes from the one cell, and there's this splitting, the dichotomy of that cell, right? And then it has multiple dichotomy again and again until it is birthed into the one, through the one. So the splitting is an important aspect, because in this realm we live in that duality of receptivity. As I go through this, you'll hear receptivity and creativity, the receptive activity and the creative activity. This is the divine masculine feminine energy. The feminine is receptivity and the masculine is creativity. Receptive, because if you notice, when we're receiving, the feminine aspect that receives, if you look at it even down to a, gender, to a physical aspect, the females, we receive the information, right? We receive what is given to us in order to create that baby, right? These cells have to be given into us, and we receive it into ourselves, right? So the receptive activity is that feminine activity. It is where we are witnessing. So when you're seeing things, you are taking in information, you are receiving, right? And then you do based on what you receive. So that's the song and dance in this realm, the harmonizing. This is why we got to understand it. There's no one that's better than the other. It's understanding that we come from the receptive activity to be a part of the creative activity, for us to do, for us to have free will and to do, and be a part of the creative process over and over again. We ourselves are particles of creation, and we participate in more creation by doing. That is the masculine energy, is that creative activity of what we are developing, right? Because we are souls in development and cells in development. So this is part of the process, and this is also so for the earth. As I said, the earth is a soul. So think about that for those of us who understand that we are splitting into 5D, and the earth is like energetically, this is what is happening. The cell, the earth vibration, it is now the dichotomy of the cell of the earth is splitting, and we're seeing that split that is happening, and that dichotomy is going to happen over and over again until we get to the finished product, until we get to the manifested points where it is all integrated as one. But it has to come through this dichotomy, through the duality. So it's not to see the duality as all bad, and to understand that the feminine energy is what is, when you kind of look at it, it's like the feminine energy is leading the way, right? Even in the sacral, the feminine is the more dominant, because it's emotional body, emotions. It is the subconscious. It represents the subconscious, so to speak. But it is not to be without the masculine. It is the receptive activity that first receives whatever it needs to receive and give way for the masculine. And even when you look at how we develop scientifically, we start off as, they may say, androgynous. I don't know if I'm saying that word right, but usually more as a feminine. And then when the boy starts to develop, the genital becomes, the male genital. So you can even see how it really expresses how, even at a conscious level, how we must give way to the feminine. The feminine, the receptive energy goes before. It has to receive first. right? And so at a body level, there has to be that receptive so that it can do what needs to be done. And I say this for us to even understand, and I may speak about it in another video, for us to really understand how it is important for the feminine to be allowed in its receptivity, being vulnerable and be allowed, because it allows for the masculine to match that energy, to read the instructions, so to speak, from the receptive activity, and then be able to do, right? And this is how it is in our mind. This is a song and dance in the duality. So I just wanted to go ahead and like at least set the pace for that, so you can understand what this dichotomy is, right? So as I break it down, and when I break it down, I want us to image, and I may show it again. This right here kind of highlights, this is the Kemetic tree of life, or some may say it's the Kabbalah tree of life, but it is really originally Kemetic studies is older. So you see it coming from the one, and this right here would be where the split happens. If you look at this as the body, this may be the crown or the top of the head, and from the eyes, from the third eye to the sacral, there is the dichotomy, the duality that it's playing itself out, and we're experiencing it all the way till it comes back to one, because the manifestation or the manifested product is one, right? The two make a baby. The baby goes through this whole dichotomy process even as a cell, but when it's time to be born, it is born as one baby, right? Unless there are twins and whatnot, and even the twins, and they have their own dichotomy of each cell for each baby that is being born. So it's still one product, right? So with that said, gave the background to that. Let's go and look at the dichotomy of this soul. So of course I'm gonna break down as it was shown to me, give it to you as best as I can, because my light is tripping. This Mercury retrograde got all my technologies acting up at all the wrong times, but it's okay, we gonna go with it. So let's look at the third eye, right? This is where the split happens. So it is in the third eye where the duality separates or splits within the oneness. Remember, it's not splitting from the oneness, it's splitting within the oneness to begin to express itself through the feminine masculine energies of existence as the receptive creative activities within the time-space reality, right? So it's understanding this duality is happening, it's splitting here. We're coming from the oneness and we're splitting to be a part of this existence here on this realm, to tap into this realm, to be a part of this time-space reality. This is the divine order of existence in this realm. We have to partake in the duality. So that's the positive about it. The separation within the oneness takes faith to see. Those of you who remember the metaphysical meanings, listen out for these words as we go down, right? It takes faith to see the potentials and possibilities of the process, to harmonize the dualities and bring it into creation through the trinity of divinity, the oneness that is always, let me say this, the oneness that is always in existence, right? So it's knowing that, basically just saying the separation that is within the oneness. It takes this faith. That's why it's a faith, to see beyond. So as we're coming here, we know beyond the dualities. We're not here to get caught up in the dualities. So it's for us to remember. This is why I said the remembrance of the soul is like gold. It's worth more than gold. But it's for us to remember that we come here for all the possibilities of our soul unfoldment, to process, as a part of the process, to harmonize the dualities through a trinity of divinity, because the two always brings forth the third party, right? So that is the what would you call it? The continuous reproducing. It is the reproduction continuously, always bringing about the two. The duality has to keep the regenerative process going. So that trinity it's like that trinity secures the continuous existence of the process of the duality through the oneness that is always in existence. So it's always one. The duality and the trinity is still within the one, coming from the one, right? So that is that coming from the third eye. Now, when we go into the throat, and mind you, in the upper, kind of in the upper chakras, like it's very hard to see the duality. Remember, this is the invisible essence. We're speaking from the etheric aspects, the higher chakras, where the duality starts to form, right? Where the split happens. So now coming into the throat, it is through the imagination that we see imaging, right? That we are imaging what we see through this is the receptivity, and the feminine is the imaging aspect, and forming a nation, that's the creativity and the masculine, to interface and harmonize with the dualities in the atmospheric body, that brings through the expressions, right? Expressions of what is being witnessed in the formation of order into the energy body, which is below, right? So this is speaking of all of the imaging that we do, the seeing. So the duality that we're seeing there, although we see one word, imagination, it is still kind of has a duality meaning. You're imaging and you're forming, and that is the divine, that's a feminine masculine energy, because as you're imaging, you're receiving. Remember, your receptors are up, whatever you're seeing, and then that nation that you're forming is a part of the doing, right? But it's in its, more invisible aspect, right? So this is the atmospheric body that brings into expression what is being witnessed in the formation of order into the energetic body of time existence through consciousness. This is why it says land forms, consciousness forms, because it's showing that order through the consciousness. This duality is more subtly seen as it is in the atmospheric existence of it all, right? It's the feminine masculine, and this feminine masculine is the seeing and doing, the witnessing and forming, the imaging and the nationing, which building that nation is the forming, same thing. So it is very subtle. This is why, it's in the atmospheric body. It's not yet seen, right? It is still very, this dualistic aspect, we're not seeing it. We don't see the essence of it. This is why you'll see why, as I go on, why it's not realized until the sacral. So as the dichotomy is happening all through our soul's consciousness, we're not really aware of it. We're not seeing how all of this entails with this constant dance with the masculine feminine energy, with the receptive and creative activity each step of the way, right? So this brings me into the heart. In the heart, it is from the will and understanding of the sun and moon, right, that guides us through the order of time and harmonizes our inner and outer world as the bridge between the spiritual and physical. This is why this is the bridge, which is the invisible and the visible. So as you see, as you get to the heart, the duality now is going to come into visibility a little bit more, right? This is a duality of the masculine feminine energies that are organizing through the transcendence, get it, dance, of time, to bring the energetic body into the mental identity body, right, which is the next step below, into the mental identity body, to sort through the self and categorize the different aspects of the I am through the process of discrimination. This is why, when you get to that part, that is the know thyself process. But to say that with the heart, we're seeing that dichotomy still going down, that as you reach the energetic body, this is now where it's coming more into visibility, because we are vessels of time. So it's bringing that imaging and that forming into an order, into the energy body. And now this energy body is bringing it down. It's making it more tangible so that you can witness it, but you're witnessing it still at a mental level. It's just less etheric. It's not so much in the atmospheric transcendent body or the cosmos. It is more in the energetic realm, in the energetic body, which we can feel and sense a little bit more, that it's making its way into our mental body, our identity body, right? So this is like, I don't know if this is a beautiful thing when we understand our dichotomy, that we realize this dualistic dance is so helpful. It's beautiful, and it's helpful for us to understand how we are constantly working with these dualities for our betterment, right? So in the solar plexus, this is where I kind of bridge it together, the solar plexus into the sacral. It was bridged for me. In the solar plexus, it is from the thoughts and feelings. Remember, we're now in the mental identity body. So it's through the thoughts and feelings, which is the masculine and feminine, again, that see the different aspects of self as the I am through discrimination, which comes into the full realization, and there is the sacral, the full realization of the masculine and feminine energy operating in harmony as one, as the soul's creator. This is why this is the creative activity. The sacral is about, this is where we get to the part of the creative process where it says, male and female created he them both. And this is where it says made in the image and likeness, because this is where you come into that awareness of the soul's creation, right? And it is this sacral, it is this sacred union that expresses the dichotomy of the soul. In the sacral, it is expressed, it is realized. We do not see it until it gets to the sacral. It is a duality that returns to the one. All for one and one for all, because all is one and one is all. It is a return to the understanding through awareness, a new level of awareness, a more physical, tangible awareness, because now we're really in the physical lower chakras and the real physical body. This is the emotional body, but it's right before the physical body as the root, the manifested aspect, right? So through awareness of the oneness of the soul, right? And then here comes the manifestation. So there's an awareness made in the image and likeness. You are aware of your image and likeness of this oneness coming from source, right? The experience of oneness transcends the duality and dissolves into the one. This is the beauty of it, right? So you transcend all the duality, which is the process. As we're coming through the dichotomy of the soul, there's a process. And by the time you get to the sacral, and the sacral mirrors, literally, because these chakras work hand in hand. I can't make this up. It mirrors the perception, the third eye, where the duality happens in the first place. This is where it splits. We're coming from the ethers, from the void, right? And you see this oneness, like I said, the one at the top and the one at the bottom. So this oneness is this connection with source in the ethers, and the oneness down below is the connection with earth, the manifested product, right? Where we produce and reproduce as we come out. And so as it dissolves, this is where the one comes out of that duality, the manifested production of it, right? And so it is on many levels with ourselves. This mainly, I want to focus on the dichotomy of the soul, the self, the soul. And if you can parallel it to the oneness of the earth, the dichotomy of this earth that is happening. This earth is a soul. So when we understand the dichotomy of our individual soul, you will then understand the dichotomy of the 5D earth as one soul. As we enter into 5D, we are birthing into 5D. We are expanding our consciousness, and we are bringing into consciousness this 5D. This is a birthing process. The cells are multiplying. We are having a dichotomy within our own cell, and we are a part of the dichotomy of the soul of this earth. It is beautiful, and we understand it. When you understand the process, you understand what we have to go through, right? By the time the earth gets to its manifested product of this split, we may not be here existing to witness it, but we are definitely a part of the process. We are in the, as if a baby would be in the womb, we are in the gestation, process, and we're in the early stages at that. We are like, when the baby just splits into two, it's like some of us are just feeling that split into two, right? Some of us may be at a level, because we have different levels, layers, different collective consciousness that is helping to bring this into existence. And some of us may be further along, where the dichotomy is where the cells split multiple times, but it's still the duality within the split all along the way, right? So it's for us to really understand this. And Why I'm tying this to the sacral, as you can see, it is when it's realized. It's happening all through us, but it's not realized until we get to the sixth step of creation, of the creative process, till we get to the sixth level where it is the creative aspect is brought into creation, where we come into a realization of this duality. It's like we get to the sacral and it's like, oh, so this is what's been happening. This is the song and dance, the thoughts and feelings, the imaging and forming, the witnessing and forming, I should say, right? The thoughts and feelings, the inner world and the outer world, right? The will and understanding, the masculine, feminine, the ego and intuition. All of this is really the divine feminine and masculine energies. All, if I give it a word, usually when I cap all of these different masculine feminine words, I label it as receptive and creative activity, with the understanding that anything that falls under the receptive activities are feminine, and anything that falls under the creative activities are masculine, right? And this is why it said as a receptivity we come out of the heavens. The newt in Kemet, the newt is the heavens, and Jeb is the earth. It is the masculine, because earth is the creative activity. To even exist here on earth, we have to have this creative activity. So outside of the earth, we're just back into the ethers. We're back into receptivity. We're back into the receptive activity that we come from in that infinite will. That infinite will is constant repetition of receptivity, receptivity. It's in the higher chakras, which is, tend to be more of where the ethers coming from receptivity, right? So this is, ooh, and I could go even deeper, y'all. It's like knowing that we come from, again, how you can say the newt, the feminine, is our galactic center, right? The sun, which is the masculine energy, where the sun gives to us. It is a giver. It is a creative activity, and we are all a part. Once you come into this realm, this planet, we are part of the creative activity, but it takes coming from the receptive activity and taking instructions from the receptive activity, which the sun gets its information, and it is connected to the galactic center, which I call our mothership, our motherboard, and that would be the divine feminine. That would be that feminine receptive energy from whence we come. That would be the newt, the allness of the newt that we come from, right? Milky Way, galactic center, whatever they want to call it. If you want to look at it astronomy wise, as we're looking at the stars, and we see that there is a galactic center that we are connected to, that our sun is very much a part of, and our sun gives us. It is the will to do. It's doing. It is giving life on this very existence of earth by giving the light codes, the energy, the information that constantly multiplies this earth. So this dichotomy is really important to understand, the song and dance between the masculine and feminine, right? So that is what I wanted to share with you all. Take with it what you will. Comment and share what stands out for you. Have you heard of this dichotomy of the soul? How does it resonate with you? Do you understand? Have you seen it within you? And with that said, I want to invite us into the sacral workshop that is coming up, because it's going to go deeper. It's like this is a touch of the sacral workshop. Like, I got this information on the sacral day doing manifestations, and just being prepared for this sacral activity. And this very much has to do with helping us understand our emotional body and our sacral activity of the balance and the harmony in this space, and the receptivity that goes before us. And it very much plays into what is happening now in the new aspects of what is to come, even with the upcoming cosmic conjunction, which I will do a video on, with Taurus and Uranus. Like, it adds to that, and it adds to what we have been seeing coming from the ecliptic season that we just had, the ecliptic window that we were just in, which is where I got this information. This was downloads out of the eclipse, the day right after. So no coincidence. I know that this sacral workshop is supposed to happen. So if you are looking into the realization of your soul, where you can realize this dichotomy, and when we respect this dichotomy, we respect our souls. We respect the process of our soul unfolding journey, and we understand how to handle, we understand, overstand, and understand how to handle our thoughts and feelings, our will and understanding, our ego and intuition. We learn how to harmonize it and balance it. And this is what we're going to go deeper into the workshop. So I invite you to, if you didn't sign up, get it, and you didn't get a chance to, it's in the link below. It's in the link. I put it in the 2 videos before this in the link, so you'll see it there. All right. So with that, I love you all. Beautiful dichotomy of the souls that you are, because we're all a part of this dichotomy. And each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, light. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and sign up for that sacral workshop. Peace.